sometimes looking and feeling like sometimes you feel like, well, it's just not happening. They don't even consider you. And it's like, but what I learned and what I understood was when I started seeing some of these things started happening, it was not in your time, but in God's time. And in God seeing how committed I am and how committed I'm still to this process, it's like whether someone ever decided to give me an award or not, my reward is when I walk out in that audience on that stage every night. And there's 40 years later, there's a freaking arena or theater full of people that's going, we still need to hear from you.
We sound crazy.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy. Your boy Thillionaire's in the building.
Claude Kelly is definitely in the building.
Hey, Chuck Harmony is in the building.
Bacon from Macon is in the building.
Oh my.
We are in the presence. Oh my.
Of a legend.
We are in the presence of a legend.
Yeah.
This go round.
Everybody's smiling right now.
Right.
We're talking about a singer, a songwriter. He's a member of one of the most iconic groups, New Edition. He's also a member of another iconic group, LSG. One of my favorites, for real. It's Johnny Gill in the building.
It's
the legend.
The legend.
Literally the legend.
The legend.
Johnny, the true hustler.
The true hustler, Gill.
Anybody else got any more groups out here?
He's like, I'm ready. Listen, it's an honor to have you. First of all, when we say legend, I think a lot of people use that
loosely,
far too loosely. But you are a music legend.
Yes, absolutely.
You've been doing it for so long and at such a high level. And we're going to get into it. 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
We're celebrating 40 years of excellence.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
when
like
you started, did you think it was going to do 40?
No, you know what's crazy? When you're young, you're just in it. And remember back then, just to get a record contract, that was huge.
Yeah.
To get a record deal was like, hey, man. So, and the craziest thing, I never, ever thought or understood the whole thing about failure. Like, I just knew you sign, first of all, to get a record deal, it was like, that means we're doing something big. But no one ever told me that the first record shipped platinum came back wood. But I didn't know. I was just like, I was just in the moment and in it. So I never got to a point where I was going, wow, that first record just didn't work. I didn't know. I just was in it. And, that's the great thing about looking back now and putting things in perspective and just, if I knew back then, even now, what I know now, just being, as you get older, you become more present, and I found and make it a conscious effort to be more present with all of the things that that I've accomplished and the things that are happening now.
That's real talk.
But when you're younger, you're just like this, and you look back, and most of it is a blur. You're like, oh yeah. I did that. I did, huh?
No, we're just talking about the importance of celebrating your wins.
Yeah.
And living in it, because this is business. Like, what's next? What can I do next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
But time flies.
Yep.
And it does become a blur if you don't settle in and say, okay, look what I did.
Yeah.
Look what I made. Look how I changed people's lives. Because that's what your music has done.
Yeah. Taking that minute just to reflect and just to understand that, hey, listen, man, what a blessing.
Right.
It is, man. It is.
When you think back to those early albums, because I feel like a lot of people, they think about, when they think about Johnny Gill, they think about New Edition and then what you did thereafter. But a lot of people don't realize that you did Perfect Combination with Stacey Saw and the Chemistry album and the first self-titled album, Half Crazy and all that. When you think back to those early albums, like, do you cringe when you listen to those records, or is it just you sit back?
Pride. Yeah.
No, I cringe. I'm like, damn, is that me?
Yeah.
And because I realized I can hear the difference from where and how my voice has matured.
Yeah.
I remember the very first album with Super Love on it. And I remember telling Bill at the time, my manager, I said, I don't know, because I didn't know anything about recording. I didn't know anything about sounds and none of that stuff. But I told him after that album was done, I was just like, it just still don't feel like I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. Like I don't know what's missing, but I couldn't put my finger on it because at that time I was so green when it comes down to recording, and I was working with one of the greatest producers, Freddie Perrin. And so, but he had just started transitioning and using the drum machine, learning how to use all that stuff. So the stuff that he was where his strength lied with what he was doing with, from the ABC, I Want You Back. He had kind of moved away from a lot of the musicians playing live, and he was starting to do this stuff and programming, and it just felt, and even though I didn't know what it was at the time, I realized later, I'm like, oh, that's what it was. I didn't get that vintage, that
live stuff.
that Freddie Perrin, what he does.
So even at that age, you knew something didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And didn't have much to say. It was just like, get your ass on up here.
Johnny, your voice, right, which is a national treasure, I would say, is a whole thing, a whole college course to be studied. I want to talk about, obviously, like you said, you've heard the changes in your voice and the growth, but there's a force by which you sing, and there's a tone that it's rare, especially now. People are so afraid to be bold, especially men and singers are afraid to sing out. What were the inspirations that made you that kind of a singer?
Ooh, from Teddy Pendergrass to Luther to Peebo Bryson to Bobby Womack. The list goes on, and there was so many that and Stevie Wonder. The list goes on of just great vocalists that I grew up on. Man, and I was influenced.
You take it for granted, but like I'm telling you, like every Friday when I go listen to new music, and there's always something for everyone there. One of the biggest things missing is like the power of the black male voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people doing stuff, and it's vibey and it's cool and it sounds nice and it's cool. But like someone who's just looking straight at you and singing the song, is so missing.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up singing in church, so it comes natural. It's just that's when I reach into that point where I'm feeling it and it's just connecting with my soul. This is just who I am and how I've always expressed myself. So, but as I've gotten older, and it's so funny because Luther Vandross told me one day. He said, my all-time favorite song?" And I said, "No." He says, it was a song called "Baby It's You." There's Stacey Latta song. I did a whole duet album, and I said, "Really?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "The tone and the phrasing." I had no clue as a kid what that meant or what that was about.
Right.
But that was the first time I was introduced and started listening, because I'm going, what does he mean by that tone and then the phrasing?
Yeah.
I was just singing. I didn't know. But
You just had it. That's why. You just had it. I know you were cutting up and singing in church back in the day. I know you had the whole church rocking.
Well, let me tell you what we used to do. That's my older brother, Randy. What we used to do, we would we were singing in church, and we would be Jodeci. They were Little Cedric at the time.
That's
and
that's KC.
KC,
Little Cedric, Casey Haley.
Yeah. And so we would just sing in the metropolitan area, and it was so crazy because I talked about this not too long ago, singing in church, thinking it was funny. It was fun. We would gather, all of my brothers, and I had another friend of ours, Wayne Matthews, who played guitar. And we used to sit there and go, watch this, watch how many people I'm gonna make shout. I never knew at the time that was a gift and there was some power behind it, because it was just fun to me. I didn't know. It was hey, you know what you got here is a weapon that's in the series and how it impacts people. I just knew I could go, okay, watch this right here. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna watch them go. And then they just go.
That church training,
it
makes you a different kind of beast.
Back in those days, what was your favorite gospel song to sing?
Ooh, probably "I Don't Feel No Waste Tied" because it was the version of the Mighty Clouds of Joy.
Yeah.
And
Talking about the Mighty
Pass
Clouds.
the track over there.
Mighty Clouds.
Yeah,
That's my group right there.
Mighty
bro.
Clouds.
and that I've been in a storm
Come on now.
too long.
Yeah, that's from the In the Changing Times album.
Yeah.
Man.
We sound crazy.
Woo, where do we go from here? Stacey Latta and our special guest is Johnny Gill this week.
You have the power and the range.
Yeah, and the range.
Like, it's very few and far between where male singers have both, and they do execute them both well.
And it's kind of unfair too because Johnny comes from that school where he's like, "You better come correct because when I come in,
Yes, I'm shutting the shit down.
when I come in, I'm gonna do something. So you better do your stretches, do
Okay,
your warm ups,
ready to do the stretches,
and be ready."
Are you still in touch with Stacey? Stacey,
Every now and then we still reach out or we talk, but yeah, she's out and rocking, and she had went over, crossed over to doing her ministry thing. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't hard for me. I mean, this is right in my wheelhouse. I mean, when you think about this type of song, it's like you can do these with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
But it was, and it was funny because we weren't in the studio at the same time.
Wow.
Really? I recorded mine. I was on the road and just finishing up the Heartbreak tour, I think, when I actually went in and had to go in one day and with Lamont to record my vocals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wasn't in there at the same time.
Were y'all able to ever perform that live? Because I know that was like the last song where she kind of
ever record. Wow, that's a good question. I don't think we
I know she
ever
pieced out
recorded
after that record.
Yeah. No, I don't think we ever recorded
There's no
that.
record of y'all doing that
together.
together.
No.
That's crazy.
And that was a big record at radio.
Number one. Yeah, it went
I know
number
she's
one,
in the
yeah.
ministry, but she might have to come out one time.
just do one time.
Just for history's sake, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just start changing.
Lord, where we go? We'll just be a choir at the end. Because that needs to happen.
Yeah.
That needs to happen. The other part, I was talking about your voice earlier, but the other part that makes you a killer is you're a stage killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same way I complain about how there's a lack of forcefulness in voice, there's a lack of showmanship on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the other part is that, like, I was joking earlier, but the other thing is, like, if Johnny gets on stage, where were we? We were at, Phil, you were there. We were at the, was it Songwriters Hall of Fame?
It was
Yeah,
Songwriters
Songwriters
Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame.
Fame.
Yep.
When I tell you that Johnny came out and shut that shit down. Who was
It's Kenny, right?
Kenny for Kenny, yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
that room was full of white people on their feet swaying.
Yeah. No, that was. Hey, bro, we were like,
We were
all right, we
like,
done.
here we
All right,
go,
let me
here
call
we
my
go,
car. Call my car. The show's over.
Everyone was just like, well, that's the end of the show. Like, because it's a stage killer, but that instinct is something that I feel like is missing. Do you, again, I'm sure that comes from church as well, and trying but you've had so many iterations of you solo and different, obviously the different groups and different experiences. Like, I just can't imagine the amount of experience you've had in becoming a stage killer.
I think it started early. That's like I was saying earlier when we used to gather before we would go into church, and back then when we played these different churches, you don't have sound check. There was none of that stuff. It's just all every group just go up next, the next group go up, and you got to plug in somebody's guitar amp, and everybody just goes. But I just always felt like it was one of those things that I go, packed church.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Do you have a most memorable performance?
Most memorable performance. Wow. Might probably be the one that I did the tribute for Luther. We did a tribute for Luther, myself, Kenny Lattimore, and Elder Bosch.
Oh, yeah.
Soul Train.
Yeah.
And listen, do you understand
That was so
how
good.
hard
Yes.
it is to move Lou? And I remember singing, I forgot what song it was, when I actually went and I was like, okay, I'm going in gear. I'm kicking in. And I watched him jump up and just go. I said, got you.
Was it Wait for Love?
Wait for love.
Wait for Love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's a historic tribute. Like,
And Whitney came out at the end. Yeah.
for So Amazing.
Yeah.
That I've watched that so many times. Okay,
It's like a part of the YouTube experience.
it is
Yeah.
Like, you got to watch that.
legendary performance.
But it was one performance I did with him here in ATL at this theater many years ago, and we did the song that he did with I fell asleep late last
Nothing
night.
Better
I
Than
want to be
Love.
loved. And man, that audience just, I mean, they went bananas. And I was like, God, I wish, because back then nobody was, didn't have these cameras and stuff, but I was just like, I wish I had that copy of that performance. It was just electrifying.
Man.
And
Johnny's
then at one point we were singing as we got to the bridge and stuff, and he was just like, he said, "Go, go, go!"
And you went, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a magical night, and they talked about it for about 3 or 4 days here about the performance, but it was fun.
Yeah, man.
Johnny, talk about your relationship with Luther, because I know you were good friends. Like, tell us a funny story that's just a fond memory.
Man, one year, every year is to have a New Year's Eve party, and one year, and and Lou didn't really go out a lot. Like he just was never one of those kind of people. He just so one year I had this party at the party, and I was hanging out and stressing, trying to help my ex, trying to get everything together for the guests and stuff. And so I'm drinking. I had 2 bottles of full bottles by myself.
Full bottles?
of wine,
Johnny.
of wine.
Before the party?
Somebody forgot to tell me to eat. I'm downstairs talking to one of my other brother, and I'm in the game room, and next thing you know, whatever hit me, I remember it hitting me, and I was gone. So I remember I kept waking up, and I would say something funny. They kept saying, "Yo, you just kept coming through," and then you would say something funny, and then it just would go right back down. And so they was saying, they was trying to figure out, okay, because of the way my house was designed, it's all glass, all the way from my bedroom, all the way around through the living room, all the way to the kitchen. It's all glass in the back. So they said, okay, how are we going to get him through the crowd? So they ended up getting me to the crowd, getting me to my bed, and everybody started coming in the room, and because it was like, he's all right. It was like, he's all right. He just keeps cracking jokes, and then he said, I'll pass out. And so Lou called me the next morning, and he goes, "Man, what a great party." I said, "Oh, thank you." He said, "You should have been there."
See? That's what happened when you pregame too much.
Right.
Lou used to call me. He would play me songs and go, "This is going to be my next single," and he'll play it, and I'll listen to it, and he goes, "What you think?" I go, "It sucked." Well, you should give it to me.
Listen, from one icon to another.
Right.
We were talking earlier, Phyllis, one of the executive producers for the Luther documentary.
I can't wait.
So-
Can't wait, because I don't know. I've always felt like there's still not enough being done for him and for his legacy and for who he is. And I'm so grateful somebody's doing something for one of my idols, and he's so deserving, because that guy was truly freaking amazing. To me, him and Lionel Richie, in my book, are the 2 greatest storytellers that there is. They know how to paint the pictures, and how they would just tell a story. And it's just like, and they take you from the beginning to the end, and it's like on this ride, man. And he was a master of that.
One of the best.
And I talked to him maybe about 4 weeks before he passed away, and I promised him that I was going to try to come see him. And Lou was really vain. He didn't want people to see him in that way. But I remember when he called me, and I got a call from somebody, and he goes, "Somebody wants to speak to you." And I said, "Who's this?" And they put him on, and I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Dude, I miss you." And when he was talking, and his speech was a little slow, but he was still, and I said, "I'm coming to Atlantic City, and I'm coming to see you. I promise you, I'm going to come see you." And I couldn't get a flight back out after Atlantic City for the next show to go see him and then come back for the next show. So I didn't get a chance to go see him, but he asked for me to come see him, and I was just like, man. And, a few months now down the line of him just being gone, I was just like, wow. That's another lesson to be learned, to understand that can't put off the day for tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
Yeah. But what a great guy, and one of my idols. He beat me, his first Grammy, he beat me with the Here and Now, and I had the Ruby album. And so he used to have these movie nights at the house, and everybody, the who's who, everybody would come. And he had this trophy case that was right by the door. And every time I would go in, I'd see that trophy case. I'm like, "Give me my damn Grammy." And he yelled, "Security!"
I love that y'all can joke about that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. Listen, if you were going to lose to anyone,
You want to lose?
I'd much
Yeah.
rather lose
to
to,
Luther, yeah.
that was my guy, family. That's like, didn't matter.
Do you have a favorite Luther album
Oh,
and or song?
Oh my God. Shoot, where do we start?
Like one that you just, like, that's your go-to project from Luther.
Superstar has to be in the front for me.
Yeah.
Because
That's one. That's a
guy
song right there.
just, he just, I mean, the way he just kind of just laid and just told the story and how he just took you on this ride. And it was just like, man, and how it goes and stops and just takes you. It's like, man, like who could do that without feeling like, am I doing enough? I don't feel like I'm doing enough. How do I? It's like he just, man, he was a freaking master.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Old Lou.
Shameless plug, Luther Vandross documentary coming to CNN, OWN, and
can't
HBO
wait.
Max top of 25. Shameless
Let's
plug.
go.
Executive produced by
can't
yours
It's
wait.
not
truly.
shameless at all. And everyone needs to
That's
know.
awesome.
Everyone needs to know.
Very proud of the outcome. I'm gonna send you a link. I promise
Yes,
you, Johnny.
please.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We sound crazy.
Everybody loves them. Tell me, can you stand?
Can you stand the rain? One of my all-time favorite songs. Period.
Right.
Top 5 R&B songs of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of my top 5 songs of all time.
Wow.
Like it's just a perfect song, a perfect recording, a perfect vocal performance.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on that day in the studio.
Right.
But you came in.
tell you.
Yeah, please tell us.
That was one of the songs that I was thinking, because when I talked to Terry and with all the riff-raff that was going on in the group, because it was the time that they left with 4 and came back with 5 members. So it was all this stuff going on. And Terry looked at me one day, Terry Lewis said, and he says, you know, you're not going to probably be singing any songs on the album and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, not a problem. Just whatever needs to be done, let me know what needs to be done. And Terry said, I remember him and Jimmy was looking at me and he said, wow, it was going okay. But it didn't, for me, I was secure because joining the group, I still had an obligation to Motown as a solo artist. And as soon as that whole thing was done, I had to go back to record, my solo stuff. So I never felt this thing like, wait a minute, I need everybody to hear me. I need everybody to hear me. I want to sing. It didn't bother me. And it was like, whatever you guys need me to do, that's what I did. I wanted to do. But I'll never forget when I heard this song and we was putting this song together, I was thinking, shit, if I do a great job here, maybe just let me have this whole song.
You came in right.
As a matter of fact, I did the ad-lib stuff that you hear Rick and them doing, and a lot of stuff that I would go in and record, and they would just come behind them, and then they would, So I guess I said, okay, I guess I'm the demo singer. All right.
So they would come behind you and do the ad lib.
And whatever I would do,
because you came in and brought a whole new level of sauce to New Edition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And New Edition obviously is iconic and legendary within itself. And it's if you don't know the history of, you haven't seen the movie or all the stuff.
Yeah,
it's a historic journey.
Yeah.
But when Johnny Gill enters the scene,
right.
Yeah.
and you hear that for the first time, it just everything skyrockets to another level. Did you know sometimes you know when you hear a record, did you know, okay, this is gonna be a hit?
I know I liked the record, and I was just thinking, okay, since I had started it, I was like, shoot, if I go on this and then shit, maybe they let me just think they had the whole song and shit. Not.
But it changed the game, man.
How accurately did the movie portray that part?
We were totally hands-on involved in that. And some of the stuff didn't happen in sequence, but it was, the story itself was
Spot on.
Yeah.
Man.
And you love Luke James playing you because he did a great job.
Oh, Luke was, man, let me
is
tell
incredible.
you, that kid was absolutely amazing. And Luke and I might have met maybe once or maybe twice. And then I told him, I said, if you have any questions, just call me by my phone, because at that time, my mom wasn't doing too well. So I was back east while they were doing filming and stuff. But he was just, I mean, when I watched the final product of that, I was just like, I'm like, this kid actually really embodied me.
Yeah, he did.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
But he did an amazing job.
Shout out Luke James.
That's my
Shout out
dude
Luke
there.
James.
Yeah.
And another
that's my
incredible
family
voice,
there.
by the way.
Yeah, that's family.
I think the New Edition movie is one of the best music biopics
Absolutely.
to have ever been done. Up there with Ray and
thank you.
Tina and all that. It's just we watch it a lot at the studio.
Yes.
Wow.
We watch it a lot because it never gets boring. You always learn something new. And y'all crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy.
You talk about rock and roll.
Rock
we
and
put the
roll.
rock and roll.
And y'all still doing to this day because y'all in Vegas now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in Vegas now. So started the residency there at the Wynn, and
Yeah.
we crank back up very shortly. So it's been fun. It's
can
been
imagine.
really fun. You know, I'm the daddy of the group in here, and over the 40 years and some of the trials and the ups and downs that we've all gone through, looking at where we are today, I really hope and pray that for even some of the other groups that we set a great example, because we went through our journey and went through we've been through a lot. But I'll never forget when Kobe's plane went down, and I remember calling because Mike and I used to go at it, Michael Bivens and I. And we talked for about 3, 4 hours, 5 hours. And because I picked up the phone one day and I said, what if that had been one of us? All that we were going through, how much would that and what we was dealing with would matter? Because I can assure you there's enough love amongst all of us for each other that there wouldn't have been a dry eye.
Yeah.
Get that phone call.
Yeah, man.
So we talked and got through our stuff of talking about the things that would bother him, things that bothered me, and we went through all of that stuff. And I mean, it was hours on end. And before you know it, it's like we just was calling each other, going, "Yo, did you see the game? This stuff it had nothing to do with business."
Yeah.
But as time went on, and I began to do that and sit and talk, and once I had gotten everyone together and we sat down and talked, one of the things that I said is, here's the biggest problem with people, period, not just with groups, was understanding that people want to be heard. And it is we are so quick to be dismissive to people's opinions, to their voice, because if it doesn't make sense to us, it just doesn't make sense, or it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm just having those conversations with everyone and walking through the process of watching us, getting on calls, talking about allowing someone. I'm like, let them finish. When they're finished, then you can talk. You'll be surprised when you sit and listen and allow people to talk what you'll learn, because it's so easy to be ready to rebuttal. Most of us do.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we disagree with something.
Yep.
And so you don't allow people, and the easiest thing, even today, when we have challenges with stuff we got to make decisions on, everybody talks. I don't care how crazy it sounds. Everybody's voice is heard. And then we sit down and go, okay, what's the $100 million question is which way we're gonna go. But I allow, everybody needs to be heard. And then you find that when you do that, people don't sit in here and keep score trying to figure out, every time I say something, y'all, nobody ever listen to me. As long as everyone's heard, we sit down and we seem to figure out how to come up with a solution to deal with the issues of the problems that we have to resolve.
That's so good to hear.
Yes.
Because
Gold.
most groups don't get that second chance. To
They
do
sure
that.
don't. Yeah.
Do you give that advice to groups that you see that are struggling? Like, have you been able to mend some of the?
No, but I hope that them watching us, because we were crazy. Crazy. That's just an understatement. I'm using the word crazy. We were but to watch us come full circle. And it's so funny, Mike and I was just talking about this earlier today. To watch how we've all come full circle. We check on each other's kids and the family, and and a lot of times when we're talking to each other and calling each other, it has nothing to do with the business. We're just calling and checking on each other, or talking and just kicking about just stuff. And you would think, how long y'all been knowing each other? And y'all still y'all like that?
Yeah. I love that.
And it has it's been a blessing, man. It's been a blessing. You grow, you grow, and I think obviously even my coming in here later, this is all predestined. I believe this is what God had in store, and when it all came down to keeping this group together, in a sense, I don't pat myself on the back, because listen, I was able to talk to every individual, but like I always tell everyone, no matter how much you talk, a person has to still be in a place and space that they're open and willing to listen.
Yeah.
So it's not one that the credit doesn't fall on me that we were able to come together. It's just when you see everybody in a place where they're open to listen and you're able to speak, it can be effective.
Yeah, man.
It can be quite effective.
That's such a good lesson.
Yeah.
I want to know, what is your mindset when it comes to collaboration? Because with someone with a voice like yours, you usually can't get them to be in a group situation or even in a duet situation and them not try to overpower the person that they're collaborating with. But you've been able to sing with Stacey Lattisaw, sing with Shanice, be in New Edition, be in LSG. I mean, do so many different projects, and we know you can sing by yourself, like
Easy.
but it's like you're still able to go into these collaborative situations and still play your part, but still shine at the same time. So, what do you think? Just the philosophy is, or just the mindset going into a collaborative effort? Like, what are you thinking going into those situations?
You know, for me, it honestly, the reason why I'm so grateful to be a part of the group, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. I feel like Michael Jordan. I know I can get my points when I want to get them. And it's always been about how we balance this out to make sure everybody's is scoring. I don't look at and have the attitude that I need to have the best line and let me make sure I'm jumping on top of and killing. Sometimes it's even as a group, you know, that's why, you know, teamwork, they say make the dream work. And when you look at a team, everybody has a position to play. That's why I never looked at it and was like, I need to be up front. I need to be the point guard. I need to be. If you ever look and notice in all of the pictures, when you see New Edition, you'll notice where I'm always standing in the back. I never, even during the time where everybody used to be fighting for the front position and want to be, it just, I've always had this level of security that I didn't need. It didn't matter what position or where I was, and I was just going, okay, whatever we got to do, let's get it done. That's good. It was never that like, look at me, or y'all need to hear me. Or I'm gonna come in here and I need to sing on top of you. I was just like, what does this song require? What do I need to do? How can I best be effective to play my role to pass the ball, however? And that's how I've always looked at it. And, you know, it gives great balance. That's why being a solo artist and being in a group, I've often said it teaches you how to play and be a team player. Because when you're an artist, a solo artist, I got the freedom and the right to do whatever I want to do artistically, and I can express myself. So coming in here when you're dealing with a group and you got to figure out who likes what and what part's going to work, and do we all like the song, and how do we get everybody in there to give their best? It's like it's teamwork, and it's challenging, but it helps and brings great balance. I think that's, you know, a tribute to why I'm 40 years later been around and stayed around as long.
Come on, that's how you get longevity.
Yeah.
And then the other LSG,
Yeah. LSG.
which is a group of 3 stage killers.
Yeah.
Because none of y'all fight fair on that. All right.
Rest in peace to Gerald.
Rest in peace to Gerald Levert.
Gerald used to, he watched me every night. We go out and Gerald would watch me, and he goes, I don't care. I know you're gonna go in the false study. You're gonna go here, you're gonna go here, and you're gonna go here. And he goes, but I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm gonna kick, scream, and fall all over the floor.
And all that happened on the performances. It was electric.
Yes.
We used to have so much fun.
Whose
man.
idea was LSG? How did that happen? Because y'all are all rock stars by yourselves. Who says let's get together and do an album and shut it down?
That was really Keith. Keith wanted to be in the group, and originally it was supposed to be Keith, Gerald, and Rob. Kelly. So
Robert.
Really?
yeah, and whatever happened that he decided he didn't want to do it, and Gerald was the one that suggested Johnny. Let's get Johnny. And Keith was like, okay. So yeah, the 3 of us did that, and we went on to make history. Yeah.
Man, y'all made history.
That second
And
album
then
was
Keith-
good too. People
Keith
sleep
used
on
to
that
be
second
like,
album.
Yeah. Keith was like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna be doing all that dance. Y'all ain't gonna be doing all that.
It was a perfect balance, though.
Yes.
Were the studio sessions crazy? Because
I was about to say, what was the first
Oh my
session
God,
like?
yeah. It was like, you know, because Keith had joints that he wrote, and Gerald, and I was just here. I would show up. I'm going, what are we doing? And we was just going in. We would just go in and kill it. Everybody, you know. And Gerald and Keith used to go at it, and I had front row seat, and I was an instigator. I was going, ooh, what did you just say? Oh, shucks, what? you gonna do? They used to go at it, but then 5 minutes later, they'd be sitting there talking and having drinks together.
It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, it was a true brotherhood, man. And still to this day, Keith, that's my other brother, man, and that's my heart. He is. It's so funny because I think I've taken more on his mindset from the business side of things than he has of mine. Yeah. Oh, Keith, man, let me tell you, he's a master with numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And Keith he has no fear in going and taking risks and chances and doing things differently and invested into himself. That's what caused me, I think, over the years to finally to get to a place where I was like, okay, if you're gonna roll the dice and gamble, who better to gamble than on yourself?
On yourself, right?
So but Keith, before he got into business, was in the stock market,
Yep.
so he understood numbers a long time ago.
Wow.
And so
I didn't know that.
Still trading stocks every morning.
Yeah.
I run into him at Neiman Marcus all the time.
Really?
Keith is, I'm serious. Even just some of the films he's invested in, different
Yeah.
real estate, Keith is, I've learned a lot from him as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Keith Sweat.
Shout out to Keith
That's
Sweat.
my brother.
I gotta ask, since we're on the topic of LSG, y'all did the record with Faith, Coco, and Missy all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
I've always been upset that there was never a video. for that
I
record.
know.
But
Yeah.
just, were you all in the studio recording it all together? Or was it separate? Just take me back to that.
That was
time.
separate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was separate, but
Separate but equal.
yeah,
Yes.
but it was such a. I'll never forget that song, and just all the people that we had on there. And I thought at some point we were going to get an opportunity to shoot a video for it too, but we never got around to it. But it was. I was honored. I mean, man, Coco.
It's a lot of singers on one song. Like,
Wow.
Coco, Faith, and Miss.
Yeah.
Missy was singing on that
Yeah,
record.
that's what was crazy.
Yeah.
that she was singing.
People
on the
sleep
record
on
and
Missy and them vocals.
Yeah,
She tries to downplay, but Missy's cold.
Yeah, yes, she is.
Super cold. VA, Phil. You
Come on,
you
VA.
look
Let's
proud
go.
over there.
DMV in the building. Let's
DMV
go.
in the building.
We sound crazy.
Listen, it's called R&B. Get into it.
R&B.
That's my Mighty Mouse song. Here I go, here I come.
All right, Johnny, we do a thing here called word association. So we're just going to throw some words at you, and the first thing that comes to your mind, right? Just spit it out.
I don't
Ready?
need to have no filter because you know.
No, we don't
You
need no filter. You say whatever you want. This is
Okay,
family
because
here.
you know I got issues.
Let's throw a curveball your way. You ready?
Okay.
Your BFF, Janet Jackson.
She really defines what real love is.
Wow.
Yeah, she does. I mean, we've been through a lot, and yet still, she's my ride or die.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's my heart there. And we still every day talk. I'm back and forth. We're all over the place. When she's out on the road, everybody thinks I'm working for her. So I'm like, hey, what we got to do? Get them over there. Hey, what is it? No. Make sure they get that locked down.
Wow. Okay.
But that's my ride or die. Yeah.
Gerald Busby.
God bless that man. I think I owe that to Jimmy and Terry as well, but he was convinced when he was looking for Howard Hewitt and a couple other people that he was trying to sign, and Jimmy and Terry told him, "You're looking for a male singer? You got him sitting right in front of you." And he scratched his head and said, And what he did for me and what he did for my career, it was, listen, I don't believe I would be here and be who I am without him, because Gerald pushed the buttons. And Gerald, once those songs were done, we recorded. I'm working with, of course, obviously, my papa, Clarence Avant, doing something that we've never got a chance, that has never happened at the time. It was bringing Jimmy and Terry together and Ellie and Babyface all in one hour. That was the first time they actually recorded and produced a project on the Collaborated. So it was really, that was a moment. And everybody kept saying, "How did you do that? How did you do that?"
Right. How did you do that?
I'm like, hey, shoot, talk to my papa.
Speaking of,
Between
that's my
Clarence.
next one. Clarence Avant.
Yeah, that was my papa. Everyone used to go, "Clarence, you're doing an incredible job with Johnny." He goes, "Listen, kid, the motherfucking hoes you want." Fuck you.
Oh my goodness.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm like, what? I got more hits than you. I'm like, hey.
That's how y'all be going back and forth.
Oh, man, no, that's just the light side. I ain't tell you no.
What?
Oh my God, it gets. Oh, are you kidding me? I used to tell Steven we go for hours doing dozens and talking. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So Steve always, Steve was, listen, he missed his calling too. We'd go places and sometimes I'll go, I said, Steve, I said, there's a lot of people around. We're going to be on our best behavior, right? Yeah, we're going to be all right. Did you guys meet my smothered brother, Johnny Gill? Yeah, want to know why he can sing so great?
Uh-oh.
Let me show you. Open your mouth. And I'll be like, how you?
What? Yo, people
We
don't
just
know.
be going.
People don't know that Stevie's reckless like
Oh
that.
my God. Let me tell you. But and that's my other one. That's my heart too, man. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, of course that was always been my idol, but meeting Stevie, and I'll never forget, I might have been about 18 or 19 years old. He was getting ready to head out of the country. He was going somewhere. And it was my birthday. And this guy actually held a freaking plane up because he felt the need to come and bring me this gift.
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, and it was the first, he had gotten the first of the ADATs. So he bought me my first ADAT, my first DAT machine. And I remember looking, because, all our boys, we were all in talking about the stuff that's getting ready to come out and all that stuff. And I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy. But he came by, brought that, and he, man, let me tell you, every time we would talk, he would tell me, just give me these jewels. He was like, I know you don't like to look at the news, but I think that you should always at least pick up the paper and at least try to look at what's going on in the world. I was like, nigga, the shit that's going on in the world is depressing. No.
Yeah.
But he's always
He was
been-
well informed. He knew what
Yeah.
was going on all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, and he made
it's in
sure
the
he
music,
told me
too.
that always to make sure you know a little bit about what's happening
in the world.
Yeah, but he has been. That's my other brother. He would come over the house sometimes. We'd be having like these long riff contests.
Riff contests? Johnny Gill, Stevie
I
Wonder
like
riff
to be a fly on
contest?
the wall on that shit.
Wait, what?
Right.
One night, we all came from dinner and we sitting at the house. It was me, Stevie, and Eddie, and Nicole, and my ex, and we all sitting at the house. And Steve, like, once he gets going, he gets going. Like,
Yeah.
So we all playing the game. We was like, play that. Or he'll play something, he go, name that tune. We used to want to do that. And we all tore up at this point. Champagne and mimosas was his thing. It was, so it went on. It was like, this is fun. It went on a couple of hours. Next thing you know, we on the couch like this at my house. And everybody's sitting on the couch. The next thing you know, we all like this. 4 o'clock in the morning, you used to hear somebody go, bring, bring, bring. I'm gonna go to sleep.
At 4 in the morning? To be a fly on the wall
Right, saying that's crazy.
We would be.
of the riff
We
offs.
used to have.
Between Johnny
Oh,
Gill
my
Johnny
and
Gill and
God.
Stevie Wonder.
Eddie
One time-
Murphy and Nicole in the room.
Man, let me tell you something. One time, this guy did a freaking run, and I think it might have been a minute and a half. I was like, motherfucker, you think you crazy?
Minute and a half run. What?
If anybody could do it, it's
It's
Stevie.
him.
Oh, man.
Here's another word, since you brought it up. Eddie Murphy.
I was 16 years old and it was at this club playing this place called the Red Parrot in New York. And he said to me, because he was Eddie Murphy. And he came up and he said to me, he said, hey, yo, where's all of that voice coming from? That he said, you're a little motherfucker. And he looked at me and he said, hey, he said, yo, he said, you're going to be all right, kid. He said, just stay away from the eyeliner and the makeup.
Now,
I've died.
the thing about Eddie's the music
Yeah.
side of him. Because,
Yeah.
Man.
First of all, he's my favorite comedian of all time, my favorite character actor of all time, probably favorite actor of all time. But he's also a music lover.
Oh, man.
And of course, he's put out songs, but
This
on
guy
a deep
has
level.
a freaking studio full of songs catalog that's just like will freak you out, and you'll sit here and you'll go, no way. Like he's
his own music?
but he was all of his own music. I'm like, fool, why don't you just put the stuff out? Because for the longest, he was like, nah, they don't want to hear me sing. Everybody, because at one point, it wasn't cool for him to sing and they kept going, why do you want to sing? He's a comedian. Make me laugh. But he was a musician first before he became an actor in the business. And so he loved music. So he would just sit and write songs after song after song. And by the time he was finished, he just keep going, yo, are you freaking kidding me? Wow. Yeah, he loved music.
I want to hear some of those. I know
Man, dude, one day you got to, when you come to LA, I'm telling you, you sitting there and listen to some of this stuff.
I want to hear it.
No way.
I mean, your whole brotherhood is and sisterhood is just iconic and legendary.
Yeah.
All right, one more. Whitney Houston.
Yes. Thank you, Claude, because I was going to
My sister. Yes, my sister. I'll never forget Whitney told me one day. She goes, you need to do a gospel album because you know the Lord is calling you. I was like, my phone ain't ringing. So she said to me, she goes, you need to do it. I said, I know. And I said, I swear I'm going to do one. And I'm talking about maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. Every time we're talking or we're doing something, and she goes, I ain't talking to you. I'm like, what? She goes, I'll help you. And I said, I am. I swear I am. I'm going to do it. And I was just procrastinating. But she always was telling me, I'm mad. You because you got to do a gospel album. And I'll never forget after we lost her, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, shit, my God. And I just kept saying, I'm going to, and I'm going to, absolutely dedicate it now, not only just to her, now my mom, who's just passed, been a year ago, just reached the anniversary a few weeks ago. So, that's what they've seen me do. But if you go on YouTube and look at me in concert, you'll know that I never left church.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man.
But y'all did Somebody Bigger.
Yeah. Preacher's Wife soundtrack.
Yes, Preacher's Wife soundtrack.
Bigger than you and I.
That's a jam.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
My goodness, I'm not sure where and who I would be without them guys. Terry, out of every producer I've ever worked with in my life, Terry Lewis always knew, and he had me pegged to the T. When I didn't want to work, I didn't feel like singing and working, Terry, he'll go on home, nigga, you don't feel like singing. And when I felt like singing and I would come in, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get it, I'm going to go and knock it out. As soon as he hear the first couple of notes, he go, suck it. He said,
I love that.
Giant done showed up.
Yeah.
Man.
Babyface.
Ooh, good one.
Oh, Kenny. Man, that's my dude. I'm going actually with him in a few weeks. He's getting ready to start his residency, so I'm going to go with him. And I always go out and support him because he has, Kenny was the one that gave me my name. When I say he gave me my name, if you say Johnny Gill, what's the first thing they say? It's my. And I always say it's every artist, you gotta have an identity. And once somebody understands or know when you call that name, they identify that that song that with you, that's your name, that's your identity. And he gave me that. And I told him, I said, man, I don't know what I would do without that song, a song that I kept saying, I don't know about this one. The girl kept going, oh, this is a great one. I was going, I don't know about it. He was like,
You
I think it's a great
know
one.
about my Johnny Gill?
I didn't know about my ass. I'll never forget. I just thought, you thinking, because Gerald was saying, I think this is going to be the next single.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, really? So I'm going, it wasn't like I hated the song. I just didn't know. I was like, I don't know. But I thank God that the situation in the business didn't work out with the Whispers, because that was originally going to be for the Whispers. And Kenny was like, something happened where the business didn't work out, and he was like, this song would fit Johnny better anyway.
He was right.
It ended up where it was supposed to be.
Definitely a career-defining,
Wow.
personality-defining record.
I got one more.
Go ahead.
This is my last one. Chuck Harmony.
I met Chuck went to a studio, and that was like maybe a few years before we actually started working together.
Yeah, man.
And I was sitting here watching him doing all of this stuff and boom, boom, and doing all this guitar, and I kept going, who the fuck is this? And I'm like, this motherfucker's a freak.
Well put.
And don't let me start with this one over here.
Right.
That was doing some of the songs and would do the demo stuff on the songs. And half the time you be going, shit, I can't. You want me to sing that? I looked at him one day and I said, Claude, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I said, nigga, you know you should be singing.
He did.
And he's like, I don't really. I like the doing the writing and singing, being behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. I was like, nigga, you've lost. I kept saying, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He sure did.
Literally, Johnny Gill and Whitney Houston were the two people that pulled me aside and were like,
I'm
what's
like,
wrong
you're
with
tripping.
you?
I'm like, yo.
Yeah, it's true.
And so You Choose Me, I know was the
You chose me.
You chose me.
Yeah.
Man, New York City, we recorded that
We
song.
recorded,
KMA.
KMA in Times Square.
Yeah.
We had a good time at those
Oh
sessions.
my God, did we?
We was cutting up.
We was every day.
Every day. Johnny's a blast to work with.
Yeah, I
You
know I got issues.
The good ones. Can we talk about how Johnny Gill is still relevant in the now and the future? Because you were recently trending on TikTok.
Yeah.
You see the video of Johnny dancing? Listen, first of all, kudos to you for being so down and just like, let's do this. Because TikTok is obviously the new wave, but it's such a good collaboration.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
They called me, Taryn called me, and she was like, her manager actually, and said, well, first she hit me, and then she was like, would you actually do a video, do a TikTok video? Because they was playing the song, and I was like, and they had like these different segments of it where they would meet in the bathroom and start having a dance off. They would meet somewhere else, start having a dance off. And then she was like, we was thinking like for the ending, we have a dance off, and then you show up. And I was like, that'd be funny.
That's funny.
And so I said, yeah. I said, I'm going to be in New York. And we was just getting ready to do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And after that, I said, I'll come by. And that's what I did. And we had a blast. And she was like, oh my God. She kept going, this is not real. This is not real.
You just slid in
Yeah, you brushed
the
over
Rock
that.
and Roll Hall of Fame like it wasn't nothing. But in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Crazy.
dude, come on. Like,
No, we was just doing the thing for the Spinners.
no, but that performance,
Oh, yeah,
Killed.
yeah. Man.
that
yeah.
performance
Yeah, that was fun.
should be studied.
Yes. That was.
Y'all are pristine.
Yeah.
Dressed to the nines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Choreography on 10. But
Yeah. Man, it was just it was a moment for us, and we knew how important it was. That moment, that opportunity to represent those that I often talk about. We stand on their shoulders, the Spinners, and the people that, like, when I look at the Spinners and the OJs, and I mean, you look at their catalog, they are like, so important to the culture. And it's just that we knew, and you take it extra serious of knowing what we need to do in order to pay tribute to them, and that's what we did.
y'all did it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Y'all were like, remember this because we're going to be back, baby.
Facts.
We sound crazy.
Be with you. I just wanna let you know you got me changing my.
All right, Johnny. So let me tell you why you made me fail a class. So I was at Berkeley, and there was a vocal class where you had to learn. It was like a background class where they taught you how to go back and forth with the lead. So it was like 5 kids on stage, and that was one of the songs we had to perform in front of our peers. And I had to be the person that ad-libbed on the song while they sang backgrounds. But to my point that Johnny Gill songs are not easy to sing, got to the verses, I'm good, right? And they're like, okay, go, Claude, go ad-lib. And I froze, all right? Freshman year in front of all the students, right? And I just couldn't think of anything to ad-lib. I just kept saying, and you're so damn fine, for like 5 minutes. And the teacher was just looking at me like, what the fuck is that? I was shamed.
You should just call me.
No, now I would. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Gill. But to this day, a bunch of my friends, like shout out Brandy Williams Moore, Lynette Hammond-Gal, they were all there like, what are you doing? Like, we're supposed to ad-lib right here. And they still clown me to this day about my terrible ad-libs on my mind. So I'm glad I redeemed it by meeting you and working with you. But yeah, I got an F.
In the beginning of that song, that's Kenny G playing the horn. And then After Seven singing background on there with them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Classic.
Yeah. And it's so funny because after I saw Scotty and from the Whispers, Walt and Scotty, and they said, "Yeah, listen, man, we was mad he gave you that song, but there's no way we could have done that one like that."
You killed that song.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know, like, coming off of the Any Heartbreak album, right, and going into that album, because I mean, at that point you hadn't put out a solo record for a while. What is your temperature going into that record? Like, are you kind of like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen based on my previous solo efforts, or are you like, yes, I'm ready now that I've found the juice in New Edition?
Hell no! I went in and we was recording, and we had Rubby, we had My, we had all these songs. The very last song I recorded was Lady du Jour, and I remember looking at Terry and I said, you think I don't think we have enough. And Terry we finished Lady du Jour, and he said, "Get the hell out of here, nigga. Go home." I was like, I was like, I don't know, we have enough. It's like, no, we got enough.
Y'all had enough.
So, yeah, but that was the very last song, which was Lady du Jour.
Let's play Keep or Kill.
Yeah, let's play a game.
So we have this game called Keep or Kill.
Johnny Gill edition.
Johnny Gill edition of Keep or Kill. And he knows everybody, so this could be complicated. So it's kind of like this or that. Like, you just got to pick the one that's going to stay forever, the one that's got to go. All right, so we should throw them out. You answer quickly. Go ahead, Chuck. You want to start?
Studio singing or live singing? Which one you prefer?
Live. Definitely live.
The Provocative album or Let's Get the Mood Right?
Let's Get the Mood Right.
Yeah.
Let's Get the Mood Right was, we had some great stuff on that album.
That was a great album.
Yeah.
Rub You the Right Way or Fair Weather Friend?
Oh,
now y'all trying to ask a parent, which kid you like better? Little Junior or Junior?
There's always a favorite.
Man, why you gonna make me do that? Only reason why I say I would have to say Rub You is simply because it was so impactful. It's what helped to complete who I am today. It started with that one. That one came before Fair Weather Friend. So I would probably have to say, I would just lean toward that one simply because of that. But I always loved Fair Weather Friend because it always reminded me of, I could always hear, it seemed like I could hear Stevie singing when I'm singing their chorus.
golf or basketball?
Golf, definitely. Hands down. There's no question.
Coming to America or Harlem Nights?
Oh.
I got to go Harlem Nights.
Classic.
Yep.
Where Do We Go From Here or Silent Prayer?
Oh.
Very good, Phil.
Wow. Where do we go from prayer?
The title of his new gospel album. Where do we go from prayer?
That's good.
That was a good keeper kill.
Keep or Kill
That's a
edition.
great keeper kill right there.
Johnny Gill edition.
That was awesome.
We sound crazy.
The Esther Roll
Award.
Okay, Johnny Gill, we have now entered the most important segment of the night. It's called the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award. So what you just heard, do you know this is Esther Roll's gospel album?
I never even knew she
She has a gospel album called The Garden of My Mind.
What?
Came out on where?
Savoy Records.
Savoy Records.
1975.
the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award, otherwise known as the Irby.
Yes.
It's time for us to nominate someone. Now, normally we vote, and you'd be part of the voting committee, but I think this is kind of. I'm gonna go against protocol right here. Right?
No, I mean, I know who my nomination is.
I know who my
He's
nomination
sitting
is as well.
2 seats over from me. This is pretty obvious. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna let Black Music Honors just celebrate him.
Come on now.
And we done. And shout out to Black Music Honors because
Yeah,
Johnny was honored a few weeks back on the series, on the award special. So shout out to Black Music Honors. But
100%.
right here on We Sound Crazy, my nomination sounds like your nomination.
Yes.
My nomination.
Okay.
for sure.
Mine too. I mean,
My nomination is the one and only, the unstoppable, the incredible stage killer, Johnny Gill, for literally 40 years,
40 years.
of an incredible, impactful,
yes.
influential career.
Yes.
In music and entertainment, on stage, everywhere around the world. Like, you've influenced so many people, but the personal connection, we are, first of all, not only are we the band, but we didn't retire and quit when we almost quit because of the advice, that advice you gave. When we were burnt out, it was those words, it was the records, it was remembering the responsibility from you. So personally,
That's true.
you are a personal hero to us, a personal influence. No one more deserving of all the flowers in the world. I hope you get many, 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 many more
Absolutely.
Thank you.
awards. But we had to do it here personally.
Wow, thank you, man. You don't know how what that means to me. 40 years of this, and I've had, we've shared a lot of great success with New Edition. Very rarely. I remember when I got the phone call and they were saying, well, the Music Black Honors want to honor you. And I said, want to honor who? And I said, who, me? And they go, yeah. I was like, for what? They go, fool, because you're just...
Right.
It's been so many years, 40 years. It doesn't happen that often to be honored. And I almost felt like Little Richard. I was like, what the hell are you giving honor me for? I was like, y'all ain't never gave me nothing.
I'm the architect.
Oh, shut up.
That's too good, by the way. Yeah. No, you over deserve, brother. Like you do.
Thank you. But what I realized over the years of my 40 years is because of my passion, my commitment, sometimes looking and feeling like sometimes you feel like, well, it's just not happening. They don't even consider you. And it's like, but what I learned and what I understood was when I started seeing some of these things started happening, it was not in your time, but in God's time. And God seeing how committed I am and how committed I'm still to this process. It's like whether someone ever decided to give me an award or not, my reward is when I walk out in that audience on that stage every night. And there's 40 years later, there's a freaking arena or theater full of people that's going, we still need to hear from you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And nothing could ever honestly override that, because ultimately that's where the buck starts and stops. And just the fact that they're saying we still need to hear from you is beyond the blessing. So whatever I've had to go through to be at this point versus being able to stack up a lot of awards, which I'm so grateful that you're being honored by my peers. It means a lot. But I understand that it's even my purpose is even bigger than that. And so I never honestly, you think about it, but I never got discouraged wondering when are they going to ever, acknowledge my hard work. Because nobody, listen, we all know that when we're working hard and doing what we do, nobody wants their work to go unnoticed. And if it was for any other reason, it was about that. Not so much that I needed to be the big kahuna in the room and I need to be the baddest. It's never been about that. It's just that you just keep going, am I doing all right? Somebody, it's like an audience. When you're playing in front of an audience, you need to hear them when you're doing something to respond, to know, I'm all right, I'm doing all right. Y'all good? You enjoy? Okay, good. There we go. We're going to keep pushing it for you.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason behind that. But it's just a blessing, man.
It is time, though.
It's time.
And I'm actually a consulting producer on Black Music Honors. It's very instrumental in making sure that again, this is You are truly a legend. It's time.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
just
Wow.
looking
you.
forward to just the future and what's to come. But congratulations,
Yes.
Johnny Gill is our winner this week for the Esther Roll Black Excellence Award. Make some noise.
Thank you.
Keith Sweat says he's retiring soon. I'm assuming that's not you. You're not retiring anytime soon.
Hell no.
Making sure.
Tell him to go home. I'll collect the rest of the track. I do know how to do some of his songs. Who can love you like me?
Nobody.
Shoot.
I got BGBs for that. I'm ready. Listen. It's been good. First of all, the time flies because we haven't seen each other since before COVID.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to come back to Nashville.
I'm definitely, because I love Nashville. I keep telling you guys, I'm like, something about whatever that energy that is there. It is one of the few places, like, I just feel like I'm like, yo, I don't know what it is that I just love about Nashville.
Well, there's always a place for you, the studio and songs, and your brothers are here. So
I'm on my way. I told you, I'm on my way. Y'all got that on camera?
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Vegas to Nashville, and Atlanta's holding us down right now. We're kind of worldwide here.
Right.
But, okay, so I'm going to give you a second to think. But before we end, we asked our special guest to give us the song that you feel encapsulates this conversation. Could be anything. Could be your song. Could be a song that just on your mind right now. But we want you to give us that last record. But before we do, we'll thank our friends at home, and then we'll come back to you with that.
Okay.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy and WeSoundCrazy.com.
And thank you to our partners at Visit Music City. Thank you so much for your support.
And make sure that you're supporting, following, streaming, buying tickets and music of the one and only Johnny Gill. You know where to find him.
Go back and listen to that catalog.
And listen to that catalog and learn some things. Yeah. All right. Drum roll. This is the time. What's the song that's closing this We Sound Crazy episode?
There's a song that I did on the New Edition album, the Home Again album. It's called Thank You.
Yes.
I love that Home Again album.
It was supposed to be an interlude, and I ended up writing it like in a matter of like maybe about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and they kept going. I kept saying, it's too long. I can edit it because I know it's just a, and I remember Lil said to me, you better not touch that song. But it's a song that really still, on all my recordings, I listen to stuff and I'm always still critiquing. I don't know, it's just part of what you do as an artist. It's probably the only song that I listen to this day, and sometimes I still gotta walk out. Wow. It was just coming from an honest place, but it's just giving God praise, because I just know, you come to a Johnny Gill concert, just know there's church gonna probably break out at some point in there, but I'll get you back to where you want to go, where you come in. But it's just, I just believe and know that I couldn't have done this. I've been in a business where I've seen so many things and so many people that have been doing, that went through so much. And even through the turmoil, my ups and downs and the things that I even had to go through, it was only simply because of my faith and understanding that even that, you get tested like anybody else. And the reason why I could stand here and I could sit here and tell you guys that even through it all, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing, is because I'm deeply rooted in what my mom and my dad instilled into me, and that's what has caused me to go through the storm and still be able to sit here with you guys today, and talk about my journey and realize that, wow, I've been through, I've had a heck of a journey, but still got more to go. But I'm so grateful. So when I keep saying, thank you for all that he's done for me. Thank you, because even when I was traveling up and down the highways and the things that we've seen, and sometimes even in harm's way, that he protected me, covered me with his blood. And I'm like, listen, man, so that it's so simple, but it's just direct. It's the right thing. Just saying thank you.
Thank you. That's the perfect song to end this episode with.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you to our special guest, the legend, Johnny Gill.
Johnny Gill.
Gill.
Johnny Gill. Oh, man.
Too many stories.
Too many stories. Until next time, we sound crazy. We out of here, y'all.
Peace.
Wow.
We sound crazy.